It's another interesting episode of Labor Lens where we bring to you happenings in the world of work. This week we'll be focusing on casualization of workers in Nigeria. I am Sharon Ijason. First, let's take happenings in the world of work. Workers of the National Insurance Commission have started a 3-day warning strike to demand for the removal of the Commissioner for Insurance, Mohammed Kari, over alleged incompetence. A protest was organized by the Association of Civil Servants in Abuja in solidarity with their colleagues at the Commission to press home these demands. The protesters says Kari has turned the Commission into his private estate where he carries on with activities which are against financial regulation and due process which has cost the federal government.
If your vehicle now brush another vehicle now, normally the third party is not supposed to cover. But that one is not being enforced because the regulatory agency is not enforcing anything against the insurance company. Based on that, the workers now have embarked on 3 days warning strike action in the first instance. If after Wednesday nothing is done about its removal, as from Thursday, the warning strike action is going to metamorphose into indefinite strike action. If that is done and nothing yet is done to remove him from office, then other agencies of government shall come to their aid in solidarity.
President of the United Labour Congress, Joe Ajero, says the government needs to support the lottery agencies in the country to help create jobs for the youth. Speaking at the inauguration of the Lagos Council of the National Union of Lottery Agents and Employees, the Labour leaders stressed that unity amongst workers and employees cannot be compromised. They, however, want government to check the excesses of their various revenue-generating agencies.
There needs to sensitize the general public on the activities of lottery agents so that whatever might be the negative perception before now will be cleared. That is a genuine organization where people, when they stake, they get whatever they win. There are no stories about it. So the ULC have played to be with them, to support them, to build a strong and formidable union in the lottery sector.
We have a lot of challenges among our agents. We have in both internal and external. The internal is within the agents, and the external is, let's say, the companies, the local governments, all other government agencies. They used to go after our people. They used to disturb their business. They used to take our machine. So just mention it.
We are paying at the center, we are paying at the state, and the agents are also paying their taxes. And so we are not expecting the local government again to start generating extra cost of income from our people. And we have made them to know this severally. But each time a new local government chairman comes on board, they sell the idea to him and he wants to take it up and begin to generate revenue from our members. And this is not acceptable. And the lottery board themselves, they've been stepping in to make sure that they stop this.
Adeyemo Adebowale is an accountant at First Bank Nigerian PLC. He worked with the company for 9 years and few months before he was relieved of his job. Aged 39 with 2 children to fend for, Adeyemo feels he has little or nothing to show as a support staff for almost a decade.
I've been very sad. I've been very, very, very demoralized. Like, is this happening? I have kids, I have families to take care of, and we have friends that we know that, okay, you are working in a social place, you have been very helpful to some people, and you have families around. At least I'm a breadwinner of my family. You know, I have a lot of people around me. I can't even open my mouth to them to tell them I'm not more at work with just a via text message or call that you are no longer required to resume work and all these things. happening for the past 2 months, you just look pale. You don't know the direction to even go at all, because nothing is forthcoming from you being exited from where you have worked diligently over 9 years and some months, hoping to be converted, looking very hopeful that, okay, at one point or the other, there's always green light at the end of the tunnel. And that hope has just been dashed just by a mere call from somebody somewhere that did not even offer me job.
Adeyemo Adebowale further shares his work experience.
We have governments who should look into this particular issue of casualization, especially in the banking industry. It is not even nice the way they portray themselves outside there to the world, to the people, that banking industry is this, is that, is this, is the best place to work. That is not the way it is inside there. It is very terrible inside there, having to work. You don't have your time, you don't have your own freedom. You are caged in from morning till night. Even at times in a branch where I work, we work till 11 p.m. at times. You don't even get to know your kids. All this thing was just dashed away just under 2-3 minutes decision with somebody somewhere who just woke up and think of these people are no more useful to this system. And we contributed our own quota to every industry. So many other industries where we have casual staffs, at least they have sense of belonging, even though they are going to be okay, they know they are going to lay us off one day or the other, but then they still do some package for them to say, okay, go, I have this thing for you, we don't want you again. But that person can start us somewhere again. But with our own case in the banking industry, it is terrible, especially with this bank that we work with. It is very, very terrible. We know some of other banks that did the same thing and they compensated their support staff very well. And we know, they know too, they have the evidence. And for the fact that we were not allowed to have this union as a body, come together as a body, is actually a way to break us, to, not to have a unified front, to talk to them, to negotiate things with them, even at this point in time.
Shortly after the mass sack, some affected workers of First Bank PLC took to the streets to protest the incident. These former contract staff of First Bank are aggrieved, noting after serving the company for more than 9 years, they were laid off without benefits. They showed TVC their employment and confirmation letters.
Throwing us out after 9 years without anything, with no exit benefit, is not what we bargained for. You promised us to convert us to your core staff, but unfortunately, what we get is sack unmeritoriously. It's in our handbook that they will pay us entitlement benefits, even if it's something we don't have a say in it.
We have given them our loyalty for years, over 9 years. So we have been there. We never in any way complain of anything, believing that one day they will see to our cry. We have been paid meager salary. We've been treated in any form. We are graduates at any less than 100,000.
President of the Association of Senior Staff of Banks, Insurance and Financial Institutions, Comrade Oyinkan Olasonye, spoke extensively on the need for Nigerian labor laws to be reviewed to protect workers.
The Labour Act specified that they should be given a letter of employment stating their condition of service. But at times there should be an industrial condition of service, which we call collective bargaining. They are not part of it. Most of the time when they ask for a letter of confirmation, their services will be terminated. What the organization, the labor provider used to do is that they will now remove them from Bank A and take them to Bank B or take them to Bank C and keep on giving them new letter of employment, so that they will not fall foul of the law of 6 months. So we need to do something about this law.
The casual workers sack by First Bank through White Clone showed us the text message sent to them informing them of their disengagement from service. White Clone earlier sent a press release stating that the workers were properly disengaged. For Adeyemo Adebowale, it is urgent for labor unions and governments to swing into action and salvage the situation, as some of the sacked workers have lost their lives due to the shock of sudden layoff from work.
Casualization, although is part of employment, but the employers, the average employers, has really abused this process, and the Nigerian workers have been, the ones that suffered mostly of it, because you cannot keep workers in perpetual poverty, perpetual harassment, using casualization because there are no jobs. Because you see, these people, you keep somebody in a casual employment over the years. It's supposed to be maybe something you have a short-term project, 3 months, 6 months. You can allow that, but removing them from the mainstream of employment just for you to maximize profit, I think is callous and wicked on the part of employers.
It should be eradicated because of the way they are treating this category of staff. No degrees of job, of labor there. It should be eradicated. But the challenge is, how do we eradicate it? That's the main issue. How do we eradicate casualization of the thing in the country? Because if you look at it, the economy of the country even encourages it. The government on their own, they are not supporting labor in making sure that this thing is eradicating. You should eradicate it because when you are working in a place with your colleagues, you have 3 or 4 in an office, 3 of you are regular staff, 1 is not regular. We call it casualization, and they are working. You resume the same time, you close the same time, but the pay package is different. The salary, the benefits, they are different. So definitely there will be a problem. So we need to eradicate it, and that is what we are championing for.
The labor laws are clear about, what is to be done. I think Section 7 of the Labour Act rightly stipulates that not later than 3 months when a worker is employed, the details of the work, letter of employment stating their hours, pay, and every other thing should be issued to the worker. But you find in our own case in this country, the Federal Ministry of Labour that is supposed to, monitor and make sure that they enforce this, they are doing their best, but I think their best is not enough. So rather what will take us out of this problem will be for the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment to go all out and make sure they monitor and enforce what the Labour Act, prescribes about employment, of workers in this country.
The Labour Act, constituted in 1974, states that no contract staff should exceed 6 months in any place of employment without being a permanent staff. Discussing this on today's show with me is the president of the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association, Comrade Olabode Johnson. Join me. Welcome to the program. It's good to have you on the show, sir.
Nice having you. Thank you very much.
I would like to ask you, sir, why do we still have an increase in casualization of worker in the Nigerian sector today?
Well, it's very, very unfortunate that as of today, we're having that. But also look at it that maybe because of the economic situation in the country, and globally in Nigeria, it's not the best for us as a country. And especially in the oil and gas, we are able to also be able to reduce to barest minimum. And when you look at it, because the dangers inherent in this is that when you have Nigerians under pressure and they have challenges in case of death, I can give you a vivid example. There was a time somebody died, and that guy had been on pressure for almost 9 to 10 years. And what the company could only pay was just 3 months' salary. It was even the union that also down to, and that branch, they also help to write before they can even give the ambulance to go and bury the man that died with about 4 children. Very, very unfortunate. And so if that guy has worked for 12 years, at least will be entitled to some entitlements that can also, the wife and the next of kin can also benefit from it. I think it's that time the National Assembly should look for a way to have a law that can outlaw it and pass a bill to it, because it's just unfortunate. It's not too good for us, because it's like more or less like slavery.
Talking about the oil and gas sector, I know that Pengasen has been able to engage the oil sector and also the Ministry of Labour. Can you share your experience with us?
Well, for Ministry of Labour and government agencies, they actually have been doing a lot to also see how we can also fight it. And in 2016, early days of this government, after 2015, early 2016, there was a committee. There was a stakeholders meeting at the instance of Pengassi and Le Pen at Federal Ministry of Labour, organized by the Ministry of Labour, involving the IOC, the service sectors, almost all encompassing, the marketers, everybody in oil and gas. And some of even the MDs and GMHR were also summoned for that meeting, with the essence of making sure that we put an end to this one and for all. And a committee was set up under the headship of the late Barrister James Ocholi, Minister of State for Labour, who died on March 6, 2016. But unfortunately, with the terms of reference, to see how we can also close this thing and make it, non-existent. And the terms of the committee meeting was about 6 weeks. So that within 6 weeks, we can also be able to sort it out, resolve it. And for Pengassi, Nupeng, all the stakeholders have representatives on that panel. So that we can have something that can be enduring. And if you all agree, we can see how we can also put it as a bill to the National Assembly so that they can be a thing of the past.
Okay, but would you say that Nigerian government has done so much as regards reviewing the law, as regards casualization of workers?
One thing we must also commend this government, at least since the new Minister of Labour came on board, that's Dr. Chris Ngige, Minister of Labour. He has been doing a very, very good job in doing that. But previously, nothing has been done. And I'm also sure that because of the incessant strikes and everything, there has also been inherent. And I also look at it that...
Or is it just about setting up panels or getting action, getting to work? Because the Ministry of Labour severally had set up committee, even the minimum wage, where it's not been inaugurated. But now we are talking about even casualization of workers. The Labour Act that we have is obsolete. So what do you think can be done to ensure that Nigerians are not slaves in their own land?
No, you see what I was saying is that it's not a panel, it's a committee with 6 weeks terms of timelines and terms of reference. And we are determined to make sure that after that 6 weeks, we must come out with something that we can also take to the table and make sure that we resolve this thing once and for all. Then looking at the labour laws, it's very, very obsolete. And for using this forum to also look at it, that the labour centers and the very affiliates, we need to unite together, set up a committee on our own to look at areas we need to amend in that labour laws. So that we can also, because I have a law that has been in Nigeria for almost 1970, 80, almost 20-something years ago, and it has not been touched. And we also know that there was a time those people were also in the parliament. But for us, we need to come together to look at very critical areas of that laws that we can also work, like oil and gas, banking sector, mining sector, aviation. Let's see, because you keep having strikes that are unnecessary. So when we look at it, we can also collectively work together as a body and see how we can also do it as a labour law, a bill. We can also sponsor it and take it to the National Assembly. But labour need to be united so that Nigerian workers can be seen that it's not only oil and gas, it's not banking. Everybody collectively can also be taken into consideration. For example, there was somebody that was in the banking sector, but now the person has found himself in the oil and gas. And so those are the things, so that we also protect and make sure that what we are doing can stand the test of time, we can leave a legacy that Nigerians must not be slaves in their own country.
Talking about legacy, I'm very much aware that Pengassi has actually ensured that they protect contract staff. Share with her your experience what the union has done so far to protect workers.
It's something that is also more or less like casual and contract something in the industry. And what we're also looking at is that, for example, there are some companies before that 2-3 months roll on, but through the efforts of NAPIMS and collaboration of NAPIMS and the unions, we're able to make sure that at least it's taken to a year plus for stability. But the challenges are also enormous because some of them are also playing smart. And for us, not only in oil and gas, in the country as a whole, the unity of labour is very, very paramount to resolution of most of these crises. If we can put our ego aside, put our personal issues aside, and see how we can work collectively to as one body, because hunger in discrimination doesn't know tribe or religion or sect. But we're all Nigerians. We are privileged to be leading labor today, to be labor leaders. We must make sure that we leave legacy that when we are here, we let our we make things that Nigerians can see that it was during XYZ tenure that most of these things were reversed. And it's not too good for us as a country. We want to see how we can come against it, because every liberal deserves, every worker deserves his wages, and there must be decent work, there must be decent benefits that you can look at it, that you are a worker, you take home, your family will be happy. And going also through that, look at the issue of owing of salaries by state governors. It's unfortunate that workers are languishing. You are owing workers 16 months salary, 13 months gratuity, pension, and everything. And you are still calling for bailout funds. I think it's that time the union need to work together and see how we can also start doing picketing most of these states, so that if all of us are together, I mean, we can say, okay, for this zone, let's go there. Pengasin, Nupen, TDC, NLC. We can also force them, because I've never heard and I've never seen where politicians, commissioners, governors, aides are being owed salaries. Why is that workers? And these are the same workers that also go and seek for their votes, and they also vote them.
Your union, Pengasin, has been able to ensure that contract staff are actually unionized. Can you share what that process was like?
Yeah, well, for us in oil and gas and for Pengasin, because generally you have some of those branches that also have enough members. And what we also do is this, for them to also be like a permanent staff, we have a structure that we have to unionize them. And we also must commend some of the management of the IOCs and everything, and they're also accepting it. Like the totals of this was NAOC, the ExxonMobil, Chevron, and so many of them. They are doing a good job accepting them. And you also know that we have some of these members that are also large in that place. But what we also have to do to also phantomize that when there are vacancy opportunities, if they are going to also employ permanent, they go into that pool of the contract and bring some of them in, so that it can also be unionized. And that's has been working. It's working in NAOC, it's working in all of them. So they pull them in and also permanent their employment. But we also have a branches for them. They also make sure that they have negotiation. They are also entitled to whatever the permanent staff are having, like they have negotiation, they have provision for CBA, they have provision for redundancy benefits, and so many other benefits, and the entitlements are not being affected. And they also participate in the union. They also contest, they also come for a NEC meeting. They are members of the NEC, higher ruling body of Pengasin. And when they also pay their check-up, we also pay their rebate. We also assist them every benefit. We also make sure that we must also be our brothers' paper and look at it.
That's a very good development from Pengasin,
yes.
And I hope some other unions will be able to key into this to protect workers. Finally, I would like to ask you, what's Pengasin's position as regards the petroleum industry bill? How will it affect workers' welfare?
You know, Pengasin, we have been at the forefront of the passage of the PIG bill. And it's very, very unfortunate that Nigeria, as at now, we don't have a bill that can build a framework for the operation of the industry in this country. And that's the essence of that. Because when you have the bill that is passed, taking into consideration labor issues, pension liabilities, and everything that affect workers, you will look at it. I also know that once bills are passed, after, I think, 24 months, 36 months, it can also be amendment, because nothing is so sacrosanct. So after 26, 36 months, you can also amend it. Either that you look at the lapses that are not captured, you also amend it. And it's been there for almost 7-8 years. But with this present National Assembly, Parliament, there's a determination to segment it and say, okay, let's start with PIGB, let's start with fiscal policies, host community issues, and everything. So I think that has been done. And for us, we also, because after the passage by the Senate, we're also going to have an interactive session with members of the House before they go into harmonization. And we're also looking
so you're telling me now that they are actually carrying workers' union into consideration during this process. Are you being carried along?
I want to give it to them. They are doing that. I said the Senate, because they are also public hearing. They also access to the committee chairman and everything. And even the one that was passed by the Senate, there are some areas we also noticed, which we also set up a reconstruction committee. And we're also going to set up a technical and implementation committee, so that what is even in the bill is passed and also implementation is also properly followed. And we also want to say that for the House of Reps, we have our members, past leaders. We're also going to tap on them and also meet them so that you can see the best way we can enjoy the benefits of the PIGB. And when you also pass the bill, most of the issue of crude oil theft, the issue of pipeline vandalization, the issue of JV cash crop, the issue of militancy, operations of the refineries and everything, I also embedded there, so that those are things that can also be things of the past. And when you also have that bill, you won't see most of the IOCs, operators in the industry, divesting, leaving the shores of this country, going to neighboring country, going to other countries like Angola, strengthening them. You see that Nigerians will have the benefits of having a bill that can stand the test of time.
Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Thank you very much.
It's a wrap on today's edition of Labor Lens. Join us next week for a fresh edition of Labor Lens. I am Sharon Ijason. Thanks for watching, and remember, labor creates wealth.